So welcome to our fourth look-in, our isolation meditations. We're going to be looking today at the character of Daniel. Daniel chapter 1 says, "But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Therefore he asked that the chief of the eunuchs allow him not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favour and compassion in the sight of the chief. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who assigned your food and your drink. Why should he see that you were in worse condition than the youths who are of your own age? So you would endanger my head with the king." Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had assigned over Daniel, "Test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat the king's food be observed by you, and deal with your servants according to what you see." Here we have Daniel, and he has been brought as a captive from the land of Judah. So the northern kingdom, we thought yesterday about the prophet Elijah, and the kingdom of Israel was divided in half. The northern part, the land of Israel, fell into the hands of the Assyrians. The southern kingdom of Judah fell into the hands of the Babylonians. And smart, able, gifted, strong young men like Daniel were grafted from Judah and brought to the court of Babylon, where they were told to serve. And they were given luxurious food in the court of Nebuchadnezzar, the king. Beautiful food. This isn't a story about healthy eating. This is a story about faithfulness to God. And Daniel realizes this food is offered to idols before it's given to them to eat. And in order not to, as he says, defile himself, he asks the chief of the servants, "I don't want to do this." So the chief servant says, "Let's have a contest and see at the end of the 10 days, who's the strongest? Those who eat the rich, luxurious food of the king, or you?" And he thinks that Daniel and his friends will be scrawny at the end of it, but they're not. God blesses them. And God blesses Daniel in the court of Babylon, and he rises in prominence like Joseph in the court of Pharaoh. And the satraps and the officials, they hate this. They hate Daniel. They hate his honesty. They hate what he stands for. And as the story of Daniel progresses, we see how Daniel is all the more faithful and how the officials hate him all the more. Daniel serves several kings until Darius ascends the throne. And the satraps and the officials, they try to set Daniel up. They tell the king, "Set a law whereby no one can pray to anyone but you, king." And when something was recorded in the laws of the Medes and the Persians, it could not be altered. And so this law is set. If you pray to anyone but the king, you will die. Daniel's custom was to go to his room and sit at his window and pray 3 times a day. And that's still what he did. And he was watched. He was observed. And then the officials, they run to the king and say, "Daniel has done what you have commanded him not to do." The king is vexed. The king knows that Daniel is an upright, a good man. But the law is there. So Daniel is cast into the den of lions. Remember that wee song? Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm, dare to make it known. He did. Cast into the den, into a den of isolation with fierce, ferocious, hungry lions. And yet, he displayed God. He was a man of prayer. And the Bible tells us that an angel came and shut the mouths of the lions. I wonder, has isolation made you, like Daniel, into a person of prayer? James chapter 5 says, "The fervent, the anxious, the desperate, the imploring prayer of the faithful availeth much." Prayer is important. I wonder at this time if you realised how important prayer is. Do you realise that we need to pray more? Maybe you've realised that you don't pray. You need to pray more. Maybe you've realised that you've been absent from prayer meetings, or absent from the place of prayer, or even absent from the throne of grace as you don't pray even at home. Is this a time when you realise you need to pray, to be like Daniel, Is our isolation meditation today teaching you the importance of prayer? The importance of realizing that God answers prayer? Is it teaching you that actually perhaps for the first time you need to pray, I, Lord, am a sinner in need of you. Come into my heart today, come in to stay, come into my heart, Lord Jesus. Maybe we need to pray the sinner's prayer for the very first time. Daniel was a man of prayer. Daily he prayed 3 times. Our isolation meditation today is encouraging us to pray. We need to pray at this time, don't we? Hopefully it's teaching us the need to pray.